In August 1532, the Ottoman Empire launches its greatest campaign yet into the heart of Europe. This time, the target is absolute. Vienna must fall, and with it, the gateway to Christian Europe must be torn open. Suleiman the Magnificent commands an overwhelming force, over 100,000 soldiers, the finest artillery in the world, and the momentum of an empire that has never known defeat in a generation. Everything points toward a single, inevitable outcome. The road to Vienna lies open. Habsburg resistance scattered, and fortress after fortress has already surrendered at the mere sight of Ottoman banners. A small Hungarian border town called Kőszeg stands directly in the army's path, garrisoned by fewer than 800 men with modest walls and no hope of reinforcement. Everyone expects it to open its gates within hours, perhaps a single day. No one expects what happens next. Instead of surrendering, Kőszeg refuses, and in that refusal, an empire's destiny begins to unravel. Decision to march on Vienna in 1532 is not impulsive. 3 years earlier, Ottoman forces reached the city walls, but withdrew before winter closed in, leaving the matter unfinished. For Suleiman, that incomplete victory festers like an open wound. An empire built on conquest cannot afford to pause at the threshold of its greatest prize. Every year of delay allows Europe to fortify, to organize, to believe that Ottoman power has limits. From the Sultan's perspective, the window is closing. Charles V, Holy Roman Emperor, juggles wars on multiple fronts: France, Protestant princes, Italian states. But that chaos will not last forever. The moment to strike is now, while European defenses remain fractured and distracted. For the defenders of Habsburg Hungary, the situation offers no comfort. The kingdom remains split between rival claimants, its fortresses undermanned, its nobility divided. No grand army stands ready to meet the Ottomans in open battle. The strategy, such as it is, relies on a desperate hope that border fortresses can slow the advance long enough for Vienna to prepare, for allies to mobilize, for summer to bleed into autumn. Each day bought is a small victory. Each fortress that refuses to yield immediately is a weight added to Ottoman supply lines, a drain on their momentum. Kőszeg itself is unremarkable. A market town on the western edge of Hungary, it serves as a minor administrative center with walls built for defense against raiders, not imperial armies. The fortress sits on the plain, visible from miles away, with no mountain passes to defend, no river to slow an approach. Command falls to Nikola Jurišić, a Croatian captain with a reputation for competence but no illusions about his situation. He commands roughly 700 to 800 men, soldiers, townsmen, anyone capable of holding a weapon. They possess adequate supplies for a normal garrison, but nothing designed for a prolonged siege. As Ottoman scouts appear on the horizon in early August, Jurišić faces his choice. Surrender means survival. Resistance means facing the full weight of an imperial war machine. He chooses resistance. The Ottoman vanguard arrives first, as it always does. Cavalry sweeps across the surrounding countryside, securing roads and cutting off escape routes. Engineers move forward, surveying the ground, marking positions for artillery emplacements and approach trenches. Within 2 days, the plain around Kőszeg transforms into an armed camp. Tents spread like a canvas city. Supply wagons form endless columns. The thunder of thousands of boots and hooves reverberates through the ground. Inside the walls, defenders watch the gathering storm with clear eyes. The disparity in numbers is absolute. No rescue force marches toward them. No secret weapon waits in reserve. What they have is stone, powder, and will. Jurišić does not waste energy on speeches or false optimism. He organizes his defense with the precision of a man who understands that survival depends on discipline, not heroism. The walls are reinforced with earth and timber at their weakest points. Ammunition is counted, rationed, and placed at strategic positions. Civilians are assigned tasks, carrying water, moving supplies, preparing sand and soil to smother fires. Every person inside Kőszeg receives clear instructions. Panic serves the enemy. Calm serves survival. The gates seal. Guards take positions where Ottoman observers can see them clearly. The message is deliberate and unmistakable. This fortress will not open without a fight. Ottoman commanders initially view Kőszeg as a formality. A town this small, this exposed, should recognize the futility of resistance. But when envoys approach with terms of surrender, they return with a simple refusal. No negotiation, no delay, just refusal. The response shifts Ottoman strategy from persuasion to pressure. Artillery begins to arrive, piece by piece, hauled into position with the methodical efficiency of an army that has perfected siege warfare. By the second week of August, the guns are ready. The bombardment begins. Stone explodes. The concussion rattles teeth and shakes dust from every surface inside the fortress. The sound alone becomes a weapon, constant, unrelenting, designed to erode will before walls crumble. Ottoman gunners work in disciplined rotations, maintaining steady fire throughout daylight hours. Sections of Kőszeg's walls crack under the assault. Chunks of masonry collapse into rubble. But the walls do not fall. Defenders work through the night, packing damaged sections with earth, bracing weak points with timber, using rubble itself as reinforcement. The fortress adapts faster than it breaks. Days pass. The bombardment continues. Ottoman assault groups begin probing attacks, testing for weakness, searching for fear. They advance with ladders, covered by archers and musketeers. Defenders respond with controlled volleys, musket fire, crossbow bolts, stones dropped from above. Ladders reach the walls. Men climb. Defenders meet them at the top, pushing scaling ladders away, holding the parapet at every attempt. The Ottomans withdraw, regroup, and probe again elsewhere. Each assault reveals the same stubborn resistance. The garrison is still organized, still disciplined, still fighting. Inside the walls, exhaustion becomes the primary enemy. Men sleep in shifts that grow shorter each day. Wounded defenders bind their injuries and return to positions because there is no one to replace them. Civilians haul water and ammunition until their hands bleed, then continue hauling. Food supplies dwindle. The smell of powder smoke never leaves the air. Jurišić moves constantly among his men, not inspiring them with grand words, but ensuring they see their commander present, calm, and committed to the same fate they all share. He understands that morale in a siege is not about belief in victory. It is about belief that their resistance still matters. By mid-August, the siege enters its second week. What should have been a 2-day interruption has become a grinding stalemate. Ottoman commanders face an uncomfortable reality. Every day spent before Kőszeg is a day not advancing toward Vienna. Supply lines stretch longer. The weather remains hot, but summer will not last indefinitely. Each delay narrows the window for a successful campaign against the primary target. Reports move up the chain of command. Suleiman himself, traveling with the main army, receives updates that grow increasingly troubling. A minor fortress is consuming time the campaign can no longer afford to waste. The Ottomans intensify their efforts. Additional artillery is brought forward. The bombardment becomes heavier, more concentrated. Assault waves increase in frequency and ferocity. Ottoman soldiers advance with greater urgency, driven by commanders who now understand that the siege has transformed from a tactical problem into a strategic liability. Defenders absorb the increased pressure. Sections of wall collapse completely. Fires break out in multiple locations. Casualties mount on both sides. The fortress begins to resemble a ruin, held together by determination alone. Inside Kőszeg, the defenders cannot win. They understand this with absolute clarity. Ottoman forces can replace losses, rotate fresh troops, and maintain pressure indefinitely. The garrison cannot. Every casualty reduces their ability to man the walls. Every depleted supply brings them closer to the moment when resistance becomes physically impossible. But they also understand something equally important. They do not need to win. They need to last. Every sunrise that finds them still fighting is another day Vienna gains to prepare. Another day, the Ottoman timetable falls further behind schedule. The calculation is brutal in its simplicity. Their survival matters less than the time they consume. By late August, as the siege approaches its fourth week, the character of the campaign shifts irrevocably. Ottoman commanders confront mathematics that will not bend. Even if Kőszeg falls tomorrow, the delays already incurred have compromised the entire strategic objective. Vienna cannot be properly besieged this late in the season. Winter approaches. Supply lines are strained. The army that should have been encamping before Vienna's walls is instead locked in combat with a fortress that should never have mattered. Reports reaching Suleiman force a recognition that pride cannot override. The decision is no longer about capturing Kőszeg. The decision is about whether to sacrifice the entire campaign season for the sake of conquering a single town. The shift happens gradually, almost imperceptibly. Ottoman assault frequency decreases. Artillery fire slackens. Fresh troops do not rotate in with the same urgency. Jurišić, watching from the battered walls, does not trust the change at first. Sieges do not simply end because an attacker grows tired. But as the days progress, the Ottoman army begins repositioning, not for assault, but for withdrawal. Camps start dismantling, section by section. Supply wagons turn eastward. The impossible becomes actual. The siege is ending. Not through breach and storm, not through starvation and surrender, but through a strategic calculation that time has become more valuable than conquest. When Ottoman forces finally withdraw completely from Kőszeg in early September, they leave behind no terms, no negotiated settlement, no acknowledgement of what has occurred. The siege simply ends. Defenders emerge into daylight to survey a town ravaged by weeks of bombardment. Walls cratered and collapsed, buildings reduced to skeletal frames, streets littered with debris. The cost has been measured in stone, powder, blood, and weeks of sleepless endurance. Jurišić conducts a quiet inventory. Of his original garrison, fewer than 2/3 remain fit for duty. Civilians have lost homes, livelihoods, and in many cases, family members. There are no victory celebrations, no triumphant proclamations. What remains is survival, and the knowledge that they have altered something far larger than themselves. The Ottoman army withdraws from the region entirely. Suleiman redirects his campaign toward easier targets, capturing several fortresses along the way, but Vienna remains untouched. The window for a decisive siege has closed. By October, autumn weather and stretched logistics force the entire army back toward Ottoman territory. The Great Campaign of 1532, designed to finish what 1529 left incomplete, ends without ever reaching its primary objective. European observers struggle to process what has occurred. A minor fortress, outnumbered 40-1, has disrupted the advance of the most powerful military force in the world. Kőszeg enters historical memory not as the site of a great battle, but as the place where time itself became a weapon. The defenders did not defeat the Ottoman army in any conventional sense. They could not. Instead, they forced an empire to spend its most precious resource, time, measured not in hours, but in days and weeks that could never be recovered. The lesson resonates beyond the immediate context of 1532. Suleiman would campaign again. Vienna would face threats in the future. But after Kőszeg, Ottoman strategy adapted to account for a new reality. Fortresses that refused to yield on schedule could reshape entire campaigns, regardless of the odds they faced. History often celebrates the moment walls are breached, the moment defenders are overwhelmed, the decisive clash where everything changes in a single afternoon. Kőszeg reminds us that sometimes history turns not on the moment of collapse, but on the moment of refusal. 800 defenders could not stop 30,000 soldiers, but they could deny them time. And in 1532, that denial was enough to change the course of a war, preserve a city, and prove that strategic impact does not always require victory. Sometimes it only requires the courage to refuse defeat long enough for time to run out.